think we're finally live. Okay. Welcome to another live stream. We're gonna be looking at some different techniques because look, I have a cyborg newsletter that's in the description, of course. But I'm writing these newsletters every week, and I have a big collection now of great articles. I need to host them somewhere, and this is my current website. We've got some just it's like standard, right? But I've been looking at it and like, I'm tired of seeing stock footage or photography, AI generated images. It's really like, I'm already tired of it. It's like too much. I'm seeing it too much. And yet I still can't get away from this because it's nice to have a clickable like kind of card for your articles, right? So I've been looking at some different inspiration to see if we can model something new, do something fresh. And so I've been looking at more traditional graphic design. I'm talking like post maybe like from the 50s on to like the 90s maybe. This is all before like real digital publishing and things like that was super accessible. And this is just kind of like a mood board that I've just been grabbing some just random stuff I've seen throughout on the online. So I'm just looking through and I'm looking at some of this, like it's just like graphic and text heavy and like just some cool applications. And I was thinking, you know what if we created something that was a little bit more dynamic and random even. I'm not totally sure how to do that, but that's kind of what we're doing here today. So what I've done is I've downloaded, GitHub has released a variable font, which means it has some extra superpowers in it. And so we can do a little bit of manipulation with it, and it's really nice. I didn't understand what variable fonts were until recently, and so I think this is something that is going to be really cool because it tackles some of the problems of like performance issues with loading in huge typesets and things like that. So we can have one font file and still get all the richness of having different weights and different styles. I mean, it comes with all kinds of things. So and some really cool options too, like with changing up, how we're doing, that kind of a thing. Different ways that the letters are expressed or whatever. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of give this a shot and see if we can figure out maybe a couple of things that we can do to spice up this whole like blog card thing. And so I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if somehow we could have the headline become the artwork for the article, and that way, one, we don't have to generate images, we don't have to store images. This is all going to be CSS and maybe a little bit of either JavaScript, or in my case I'm going to use Django. I'm representing today. Django is my favorite framework. It's Python based, and so I'm going to use some of its tricks to kind of repeat words and things like that, but a lot of that can be done just with JavaScript. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. So let's dive into the code. And just to ground ourselves, we've got just a little cards class that's supposed to hold all of the different cards. I'm just going to have one for now. And then I've got this poster class, and that I'm choosing poster because I'm thinking, again, typography, type posters. That's a very common thing, is to like get really expressive with posters because they're supposed to be eye-catching out in the world. So we're going to kind of imitate that. And then what I've done is I've set a variable called headline, and so I've just repeated it, and so Django is taking care of like just giving me multiple of the same word. So whatever the word is, I can change it up here to be whatever it is. So maybe it's like problem with AI. So if I hit save and we go back to Chrome and refresh, then we should see now we've got it's dynamic, right? And so now we can start kind of working with the type and the treatment and see if we can make something something more interesting, something kind of cool. And again, this could be dynamic. So maybe like the first card does this style, and then maybe the next one does a different style. So I'm hoping to kind of collect a couple of these as we go along. So I already hate this class name, so I'm gonna get rid of it because I just want to get started off on the right foot. But let's see. The first one I do want to tackle is maybe there is like a multi, like there's kind of a trend of like having a stack of the same words over and over again, and maybe they change a little bit in opacity or something. So I was thinking we could do something like that with Django, especially because all I have to do is just, repeat this a couple of times, and then we don't have to worry about writing JavaScript or whatever. I'm just going to pull it in, and it's just going to, wherever it says headline, it's going to input that text. So let's try that. I'm going to say, let's call this a gradiating, I don't know what this means exactly. I'm thinking like stepped gradations of colors. So maybe it like starts out super light and goes super dark or something. Gradiating, I'm not sure what the word is. So I'm gonna do a stepped. We'll make this a little more friendly here. Stepped opacity. And I just want to fix this really fast. There we go. Opacity. Cool. So here's our first class. I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna go over to our posters.scss. Now, I did already set up a little bit of things you saw already. It's hiding whatever's overflowing, and that kind of a thing. And then I was thinking down here we could just add these little themes, if you will, or like just type treatments. So in this case, I'm gonna save that. There's basically gonna be nothing really different here except for the font. Oops. Let's get that. Okay. And then, oh yeah, and I need to change, I forgot, I've got the size clear up here because I wanted to make sure that was gonna work. So let's get rid of the font style because I want the font size, the font weight, and all of that to be taken care of on our like theme class here. So, yeah, and I've kind of forced this height and width, and the border's fine, I think. Yeah, okay. So now we're ready. Let's try to make this so that we are repeating things and changing the opacity as we go. So maybe we go over to here just to make sure. Cool. So now we've got this repeated couple of words. And if I go back here to our CSS, let's do like a font size. Let's get this back up because we want it to be kind of filling the screen, right? So maybe we do like a 5 rem. I hope that's not too huge. Yeah, that's a little bit too big. So let's back off just a little bit so we don't get any wrapping. Let's go like 3. And that's okay if there's some white space. We'll go with that for now. And then let's see if we can get this like gradating effect. So what I'm going to do... Ooh, and actually we might need to change just a little bit in the HTML. It's not my favorite, but since we're kind of in this templating mindset, I think that's an okay thing to do. So I'm actually going to just get rid of these and change them all to divs and div. Oops. So now we've wrapped it in a div, and that way I can use CSS to choose like the first child or the last child or every other and that kind of a thing. So, oops, wrong one. I'm gonna close that. Let's do. We're gonna start off with opacity of like 0.2, and then we want it to step up for each child. I wonder how to do that actually, because I'm not totally sure. I am using Sass, so I'm going to use some nesting and some other things like that. let's see, that's not what I want. Nth child, I think, and what am I doing here? And nth child and last, so we can get a specific child, last child. How do I want to do that? Let's see. I don't even know what some of these are. Only child, only of type. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna find one. So what I could do. We already know that it's there are 4 of them right now, so we could just do. We could just spell it out for each child. There's going to be obviously better ways to do this, but we can worry about performance and like optimization later. So I'm going to do nth child. I'm going to say, I think it's 1. Is this an off? That's that joke about like off by 1 issues with programming. It's so true, right? I can't remember if nth child starts with an index of 0. It might not. I think it does start with 1. So nth child is 2. Opacity, we're going to go up to 0.4, and then I'm just going to copy this down, and hopefully this is correct. 0.6, and then we could even just do last child just to be safe. I don't know. Last child is going to be a full opacity. Let's just see what that did, because maybe we can fix some things here. Oh, and it is not liking what I did. So let me oh, that's right. The stepped opacity is the parent. So I needed to choose a div. So let me go with and div in each of these. And let's see, div nth child, because we're looking for the div inside of the stepped opacity. This is the parent. We want the div, and it's going to be the second child. Hopefully, is the 0.4, 0.6. I'll just make this 0.7 just to spread it out a little bit more, and hopefully this will now work. Okay, we almost got it. Did we get the off by 1 error? Okay, so this one in the middle, or like the second, looks a little light. So what did we, let's see. Let me double check here. Does this need this on there? 0.2. Oh, it's not doing the first. So yeah, I think I just need to change this to 1 and 2. Maybe it really does start with, okay, I guess it starts with 1 is, let me just double check this. Let's inspect before I define my, okay, this is saying it's opacity 0.4, which means it's nth child 1, right? Okay, so then if I change this to 0.2, that's what I was expecting it to be. Okay, so yeah, let me go back here. Let's just change this back, because I was expecting like all of them to start at 0.2, so the lightest, and then update as we get more children, they should get darker. So why didn't the last child get? Let's I'll just change this for now, so I'm not totally sure why that one didn't work. Nth child of 4. Let's see what that does. We still got this. Why don't you like this? Opacity. Oh, it's not liking the opacity there for some reason. That's weird. Huh. That's really weird, actually. I'm not totally sure. I'm not going to waste time debugging that specific one, because that's not super important to like start out with that. But that is kind of strange. I'm not sure why. Oh, because I was dimming the opacity of the entire parent. That's probably why. So, there you go. if we go like that. So now we've defined all of our children. It's not quite as dynamic as would be ideal. Oh, but there we've got a better step. So this is kind of what I was imagining in my mind, is so we start out light, go really dark. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if it would work now that I've kind of figured out my my logic error there. We could say just div. We start out, all the divs are at 0.2. We don't need, and then we do the second and third are like kind of in between, and then the fourth. Let's go back to last child and just see if that makes a difference here. Last child, save. I'm just curious. Okay, so now that was the whole bug, was I put the opacity on the parent instead of these children, which, classic. So that's already kind of cool. That would be a cool, little card here to put on my website. Just have it grab, maybe it's for shorter headlines. We can have the CMS figure that out, or whatever, and just have, instead of these like pictures, we have this. I don't know, that's kind of cool. And of course we can always make sure that the font size is correct, so maybe I'll just do that really fast behind the scenes, see if that makes it a little bit better. And then that's where we can also play with our GitHub, like the font here that we've got from GitHub. So let's try let's like expand it a little bit so it's not quite so thin. Black is usually, so in typography terms, black is going to be your widest, thickest font. Black wide even. Wow. Okay. Black wide is 125 on the width. So I think this is where it gets a little weird. I'm not 100% sure. So we'll do some experiments here. Let's try, I think it's font stretch. And then we just saw, what was it? 125. Yeah, 125%. I think is how that translates. So if I hit save, we go back over here. And okay, so yeah, we can see it has stretched out. This is the coolest part about the variable fonts that I just learned about, is that these are actually designed stretching. So like, the problem with stretching a font normally is that if it's not set up to do this, it's gonna pull it, and it's gonna have all kinds of weird, like it's gonna look like somebody stretched it and broke the design. So this is really nice to have this variability of like, oh, I can make it wider without destroying the design, because the designer of the typeface actually already figured out, hey, when we're at this width, do it like this. Don't distort all of the curves and that kind of a thing. So that is super cool, actually. And then the last thing is we could just make this just a little bit thicker too. So we could do font weight. Font weight. Let's just go 900. Let's make it like black wide, basically, I think was the there we go. So this is our thickest we can go, the thickest stroke, and the widest the letter forms will stretch to. So that's really cool. Yeah. And then of course the other cool thing when we have this is we have lots of color options. So what I could do is we could go back on this parent and say background color, and let's just grab, I don't know, I had a couple of these. Let's grab green, see what that does. Stick in that variable here, and then we go back here, refresh, and now we've got some interesting, like more interesting visuals to me than just like stock photography. And of course I need to make the width, or let's see, height is going to be 100%. I think I need that since I have, yeah, okay. So all I did was add height of 100% on my stepped opacity class, and that got that all the way down to the end of this card here, this poster, I guess. So That's pretty cool. So we're gonna save this class. Let's try another. Let's see, what are we gonna do here? Let's grab this, and I'm gonna, well, let's see if we can just copy this down and start a new card. We'll start it with, we're not gonna have a repeated. Let's do like, oh, I'm kind of nervous to say this just because I know it's a deprecated thing, so I'm like, do I want to do this? But I was thinking like the police line or like the caution tape, and it's kind of like slanted, it's got its own background maybe. I was thinking of using a marquee element. That's probably not the best idea because I don't want too much animation on my in a blog card either, but I don't know. We'll see if we add that in. Let's call this like caution tape. I don't know. Caution tape. Whoops. And we'll start this out like this. I'm going to copy that class over here. And we'll start this one. Okay, so I want to double check just to make sure that we're good here. Okay, so I'm scrolling a little bit horizontally. That's all right. I'm gonna let's add some gap in here just to make sure we're good. Let's be like 3 rem, and if we go back here, refresh, cool. So we won't worry about the vertical sliding. It's not really, doesn't really matter in this stream. So let's take a look at how we could do like that cool like strip. Maybe we do repeat it at some point, but let's just try to do one strip that goes across a little bit slanted, and maybe has like that yellow color. So if I go back to the code here, I'm gonna grab this color yellow because I already know I need that. We're gonna want a background color var with this yellow. But I'm not going to want it on the parent. I'm going to want it on that div because I think we still have a div class. Let me double check the HTML here. Yes, we got our div. Ideally, this will have a headline. Let's just add the headline class just so that we can be totally sure. Maybe I'll call it like poster headline. And that, cause I don't like to see just empty divs in my CSS because that just, I don't know, it just makes it really hard to read and remember what is going on. And this makes it obvious we're looking at, HTML structure, right? So I'm going to say the poster headline is going to have the background color. We want the width. Ooh, yeah. Let's see. I think we can do that. I think we can do width of 100%. Just to make sure it goes all the way across. Cool. And then we're going to want to... do I want to position this? Probably. Yeah, I think we can do like... we could probably just do like a flex, display of flex on our parent, the caution tape itself, so that we can kind of line it up in the middle-ish of the card. So I'm going to do display flex. We're going to do align item center. I always get these confused, so let's just double check. Oh, and I also need to change, I want to change my flex direction to column. There we go. That's part of the reason why I get confused on the align items versus justify content. Looks like it needs to be justify content. Save, refresh, and that still didn't work. What am I doing here? Inspect. Right here, flex. Oh, get rid of this filter. All right, let's check out in the DevTools. We got the direction correct, but we want justify. Oh, you know what? Oh, do we really have to do that? I can't remember. I might have to change it to like a height. Like since I'm working on a fixed height and width poster, I think I have to add a height of 100%. I'm not completely sure here. Okay, that was it. So yeah, that is kind of not my favorite. It's not my favorite to do like fixed width and heights, but in this case we're still experimenting, right? So anyway, I just have to go through that exercise of talking that out to myself, console myself that it's okay. We can work out the cool graphics first and then templatize them. And that's my constant struggle. Is making sure I don't get ahead of myself. So I think we're just gonna do a little bit of padding on that so that we can, oh whoops, I didn't want padding on the caution tape. I wanted that on the headline. There we go. Headline, and then we're back here. Okay, cool. So I think we can get rid of this now. All right, we've got our caution tape. We've got problem with AI is right here. We probably want this to be repeated again, but I'm wondering, this is where I'm like, do we just go for it and just do a marquee? I don't know. Let's try it out. MDN marquee. This is a deprecated, so there's like warnings here, right? I'm just like, is this gonna repeat it for me? Because this is the thing that like automatically scrolls across, or I guess up and down. So I'm like, do we want to mess with that? I don't know if we will, but we can give it a shot. Let's do marquee. Let's just change it really fast just to see what happens. Probably not ideal to do this, but let's just have some fun. We're gonna put a marquee on here, and oops, get rid of that. Put that at the end. Let's just see what this does. I'm just curious. Yeah, see, it's like this like old. it's deprecated, so probably don't use this. I was hoping, I couldn't remember if it repeated the words as well, and I don't think it does, so I'm gonna get rid of this, but I just thought I'd throw that in there because that's kind of a fun blast from the past element that we probably shouldn't be using anymore, but there you go. So let's see, we what we can do is we certainly can use our JavaScript, or in this case Django, and just repeat our headline a couple of times so that we just have a little bit more length. So if I refresh, yeah, so now we've got it kind of, spanning across a little bit more. We can add in, this is actually really cool. So I love HTML entities, like when a lot of times people do stuff like ampersand, and it puts the ampersand in there so you don't get like corruption if the font or something changes, something weird goes on somebody else's computer. It just makes things a little bit better. Or the one we use a ton with like links is this RSA quo. Let me show you what that looks like. It puts this little chevron kind of a thing. This is actually a quote in French, a single quote. So they do these, a lot of times marketers will do these add those little arrows onto links because it looks nice, since it's developed by a font and it actually works with the text. So I love these kind of things because I feel like they have secret like superpowers. So one of the ones that we do, or that I've used a lot, is the M space. And this is actually, so we've got, you probably are familiar with non-breaking spaces, right? And it's just, there's a white space. But this one, I can even get rid of the white space around it. And we're going to see it's actually a larger space. So you can see this is one single space. It's just exceptionally large. It's basically kind of like if we use the M dash, which I can show you right here. Go like that. Save. chrome, it's going to be almost the same width as this M dash is, and that's larger than a hyphen. And there's also an N dash, which is in between those two, and they have these different properties and stuff. So we have the M space, we have an N space as well, N as in November. And so that's a nice trick, and I didn't have to do any CSS, and it's just like more spaced out the way maybe I wanted it to. So I kind of like these as just like little secret things to just help out when I don't really want to have to sit there and do span tags or something and make things like extra spaced. So I think that is nice and readable. And then we can let's take care of the rotation now, and we'll go back into our CSS, and let's rotate. Let's see, I want the tape, the caution tape, to be like rotated diagonally, right? So I think we're okay to do it on the parent here. Let's just check it out. I don't know, 45 degrees, something like that, and go back here. Oh, hey, that's not quite what I was expecting, but it definitely does the job of making it like, we put that tape on there. So that's kind of cool. That could work. And the last thing that I was going to do is fix that typography, like type treatment. So maybe like, maybe we want it to be a little bit thicker like last time. So I'm going to steal these two styles here. And then we can kind of play with them. So I feel like the caution tape usually is a little bit thicker, you know. So I think maybe it's too stretched now. The type, the individual letters are too wide. So but I like the thickness. So that's where we're gonna go back here. We're gonna keep the font weight where it was, and maybe let's do like, I don't know. Let's just do like a random 87. I don't know if the variable font can figure this out. We'll see. Cool. I mean, that's awesome, because the letter forms aren't damaged. We're not stretching them and squishing them in a bad way. It's the way the curves are still appropriate, you know. And I think we just need the font size to be a little bit larger now. Let's do font size of like, I don't know, 2.5 rem, something like that. Let's see what that does to it. And we're stacking now, so we can fix that up. I'm gonna try and change the degrees here just to be a little less, like not so much, not so dramatic. What do I want? Maybe like a 12. So it's not quite so okay. There we go. And then I think we can get rid of this third set of headlines. So makes it easy when you've got it dynamically in there with a template. And that still doesn't work. So let's see. Let's do. Because I don't want it to wrap, so I want the overflow is probably what I'm looking for on the actual headline. So I think we can stretch it so that it stays on one line. Let's do overflow on the x-axis, and let's do visible. I think that's enough. We'll see. Refresh. Nope. I think I need to worry about let's see, is it text wrap? What is that? Text wrap. And then I don't know what no wrap. Okay, let's try this one. Text wrap, no wrap. If I hit save, go over here. And there we go. Okay. So that's working. However, the yellow is still choosing the same width as the card. It's this inner border that we've got. So how do we do that? Okay, so maybe we can do. because maybe it makes more sense to do like a before or after like pseudo element. Just because then we can do like a position absolute and like really like stretch it beyond, because it needs to go beyond the borders so that overflow can just like crop it. So I'm wondering if we do let's try it. So we've got the transform currently on the parent, but maybe we actually need it to be on the headline itself. We're also gonna move actually that's the only thing. And then we can create let's do a before and before pseudo element. We're not gonna have any content, like we're not adding anything on there, so it's just gonna be blank empty string, and this is where we want that background color to be. So I'm gonna take that out and put it here. Hopefully this is gonna work. So position, we'll do absolute, and then we're gonna do let's do like a width of, I don't know, I can't, let's see. I hope this will work. 120%, so something greater than like the max, right? So we're gonna do 120% on the width. The everything else should be fine. If we go and actually, yeah, we have to do like a left value. Sorry, I don't know why this is popping up so bad. Let's do a left value of like negative 20 pixels, just to make sure it's truly off the screen or off the bounds there. And let's just see what I've done here, because I have no idea if this is gonna work. Okay, so it did not work how I was anticipating. Let's see. Poster headline before. Got our background color. Oh, we might need a height. Do we need a height? Height of like, I don't know, 32 pixels just to try. Okay. That was what was missing. So we need a height. Let's see. Can I do content? Nope, I can't do that. Okay. Just checking, because I don't always know. So this is where it breaks down, where I'm not super happy with the before having to have a programmed, because I'm already got, a fixed width and height on my image, my poster section, right? And then I have to do a height that's like really set. I don't like that. Let's see. I wonder how we can do this a little bit more dynamically, but at least for now that's working. Okay, so, and I probably want to change, I don't know if I can just change that to after. I don't know if that'll change the, nope, it didn't work. So let's keep it as before, and then we have to do z index of, I don't know, probably just 0, I think. Nope, let's do z index of -1, and then refresh. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our caution tape back in place. That's not my favorite solution, and it's mostly because of that, that direction that we chose, this 12 degrees. I wonder, I don't know if we can do something better in the time that we've got. But yeah, so it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. We'll work on something to kind of, I don't know, make that more. I'll be stewing on this, for the next day or two. So rest assured, this will bother me. But at least for now, we've kind of got this. Let me get rid of this. We've got the feeling of like that caution tape, and that's just kind of it's just a fun way to play with this. And again, it's all dynamic in the sense of like it's the same headline. We can also play with the background color on the parent, so maybe we want it to be like on a black background because that'll contrast really nicely. Background color var is the slate, and then we go back here, refresh. So it's still this one's just a little bit graphic, like a little bit too graphic-y. So maybe if we had some like textures or something to throw on and as like a background image on top of the tape, that yellow color, that could be cool. Or even in the background, maybe it's a gradient, something like that. That could be, make it not quite so so dramatically, I don't want to say cartoony, it's just very graphic, just very like planes of color, which is totally fine, and it totally can work in this situation, because again, we're just trying to come up with something that's less stock photo-y, in our lineup of like blog images, right? So this still is working for me, and it actually, it's kind of cool. Actually, the more I look at it, I think it's kind of cool. So we've got a couple of ideas here. I wonder, we could probably do one more. Let's do one more. Let's grab another card here. We're just gonna duplicate this, and let's call it, let's see, what should we do here? So we've done it where we've had a lot of these like repeated headlines. I'm gonna try and just do a single headline. Let's try to make this kind of interesting. I wonder if we can do something with like blurs, or maybe it's like we could play with like blending modes, things like that. I'm not sure actually. So let's try this. Let's try to do a huge one word or one headline type treatment here. I'm gonna call this just like, I don't know, masthead. That's not super, oh, that's the wrong one too. Up here, let's do masthead. Just because I'm thinking like really big, prominent, something like that. And we'll see what happens here. Let's go down and create a new style, right there, masthead. And okay, so the first thing we want to do, let's make this pretty big. So we already know it's probably going to be bigger than what we had before. Let's do like 4 rem as the font size. Oh, and I want to put that, let's put that on the actual headline. So poster headline. And then let's go back here and make sure that I've got a new card. Perfect. So we've got pretty big. Let's make it, let's go look at some of these, what are they called? Style or feature settings. Yeah. So there are a couple of ways that this font has been designed to like change the letter shape just a little bit. And so I'm thinking it'd be kind of cool to maybe lean into some of that like illustration, like feeling. I kind of like, well, let's see, problem with AI. We could probably do something like, I don't know, this SS4, I guess. And they've got a little hint on how to do that. So I'm going to grab this and let's put this on here. Could go like that. And it was SS4, I believe. And I don't think we need any of these. I guess we'll keep it on, see what it does. I don't think, I don't know what it'll do actually with our specific. Okay, we don't really have a great, I'm going to get rid of all of that behind the scenes. So we're just using the SS4 and see if that helps. No. Font setting, font feature settings, SS4. I was hoping this. Okay, well, that didn't work because I was thinking that L of problem would turn into the kind of like that. It's got like a little bit of a flag on the top there, kind of like on this one on the right. I'm not sure if that was working or why that's not working with this L. Let's see. Font feature setting. I wonder, boy, I don't want to sit here and debug this because I don't really know that much about variable fonts. So we'll just, we'll keep going. Let's change instead. Let's go to a like a semi bold. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. We're gonna go with a font weight of like 600, and then let's do yeah, we could do the stretch again. I don't know, font stretch, and we could do something kind of close to the top of it but not quite. So I'm just gonna do 100, and let's see what that does, because I'm not totally sure. Okay, so that's kind of your just like standard bold. I mean, it feels like that to me. So that's still okay. I think we can do something interesting with this. So if I do let's get this kind of centered again like we had before. So I'm gonna grab these right here. Actually, I'll grab all of this so that we can do background color as well. And let's save, go over to Chrome. So now, okay, so we've got our very bad accessibility black on black here. So let's change the color of our font, or our color of our type, which is going to be, let's do, I don't know, I've got some interesting colors up here. Let's try maybe this pink. Oh, whoops, I've got it named. And then we can do color magenta, and then let's switch back over here. So okay, so now we've got this. What can we do to make this a little bit more interesting? Okay, we could, yeah, you know, I'm trying to think, because I'm going to increase the font size one more time just so it kind of wraps a little bit. There we go. So I changed it to a 6 rem. That's already kind of interesting. We've already done like a rotation. We've already done some opacity changes, right? So maybe this time it's more of like, you know what? I'm going to do like a gradient in the background, and then we can play with some mixed blending styles and see. I don't know, this may absolutely fail. We'll see. But I'm wondering if we can grab I should have some like gradient stuff somewhere in here. Let me just grab one, because I always forget how the gradients work. And I'm stuck in my Bootstrap styles, so hold on. Right here. Nope. Still stuck in Bootstrap. Come on. I know I've got one in here. Okay, here's one. Let's grab this, and then we'll just close that up. We're gonna put this on our background instead. Oops. Replace that with background, and now let's see what we've done, which is broken. Oh, because I just got a typo, so I'm just gonna fix that. It starts with an L, not an I. There we go. Okay, so we got this absolutely horrendous color scheme, so let's fix that up just a little bit. I'm gonna go in here, we're gonna change the color. Let's see, let's do mix blend mode, and I'm gonna do, oh, difference might be kind of crazy. We'll see what that does. So okay, so we can see we're kind of, it's taking on a little bit of the gradient from the background into our text here. Now this is absolutely hideous still. So let's go change the colors to be a little bit more palatable. But I think that's kind of, we're getting into some interesting areas of like changing a little bit of how the color interacts with the text. So let's do like, first I want to just make this a little bit of a weirder angle. It's not quite so perfectly, you know, on those typical axes, I guess. And then we've got a couple of these. Let's change this to our var slate, color slate. And then let let's see, we've got a magenta. So what would work well with magenta? Let's see. I feel like we might be able to get away with some like really weird pairing here. I don't know. We'll risk it. We'll try this. Who knows if my color theory is is broken. We'll see. Let's go over here with this yellow. Yeah, that's definitely bad. Let's not do that. Not a black to yellow. Let's do like, I'm just gonna do like, I don't know. Let's just see what's a nice color that we could play with here. We don't want yellow, but we do want something kind of dark. And with the magenta, like a blue probably could be a nice like complement. So I'm gonna choose just that one. Just some random color here, see if we can fix this gradient just a little bit. Okay, so that's a lot more subtle, and you're not quite seeing the mixed, that blend mode on there. So I'm gonna change the blend mode. Let's go to multiply. Hope this kind of makes this a little bit cooler. Nope, that did not work either. Ooh. What can we do here? Multiply is not the right one. Let's check out some of the other. Come on. Nope. Come on. Trying to get the, here we go, the hints up here. Difference might do something now that we've got a gradient on there. It's still, is that what we had before? I probably did that before actually. Let's just change up the colors just one more time. I think if I make it just a little bit more drastic and not quite so dark, that might pull it out. So, okay, well, it's still not, it's really hard. It's going to be like impossible to see over the stream, but it is like slightly warmer on this side, and then more of that cool side of magenta, if that even is a thing. So that, I mean, that's kind of cool. It's very subtle. It's not my favorite. I think we could push this further. What, you know, let's just, yeah, we could try something a little bit different. Maybe let's do like, let's do a filter on it. I didn't think this was going to be the best idea because I didn't want to repeat headlines is what it is. But I think we can blur it. Let's do something kind of small. I think it goes 5 pixels. So I'm putting a filter directly on my type. I'm also going to repeat the headline here in the HTML. And let's just see what that does. Okay, so now we've got our blurred text, and then somewhere in here is going to be the hidden. Oh, there it is. So let's change that so that we can kind of. What I'm thinking of is we're pushing into the background the headline that's larger, and then we're gonna have like a subtle one maybe coming in on the right or something. So we're kind of playing with that depth of field feeling, and that's actually, I want to increase then our font weight to the full 900, and I also want to stretch it out to be 125 so that we get a really like a more rich, like, yeah, that chunky blurred out effect. So we're going to push that to the background. We're going to pull our new headline out and kind of play with the foreground here. So that's what I'm going to call this. I'm going to call it a div of class. We'll call it foreground. We'll just FG for shorthand. And then I need to fix my headline. Come on. There we go. Now we've got a class here that we can attach to here. FG. We're going to change the color. Let's just do white for now so that we can actually see it. And I want the font size to be just a little bit bigger than it is right now, but I don't want to be too big because I don't want it to compete. So let's do, font size is 2 rem, and we'll go over refresh. There we go. Okay, so now I think what we can do is we can add this. We're going to change the position and hopefully make this a little bit more interesting. So let's switch the colors. Actually, we'll make the big one in the back. It won't be white. Let's make this just like subtly like, so it's not quite the same as the background colors. I don't think I have anything that's great. So let's just choose a random one. Let's go a little bit blue, maybe into the purples. Something like that. I don't know. And then we'll make the foreground is now magenta. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is going to be, now we're going to make this one position absolute, because we want to play with the positioning of it, like where it's showing up. I want it to be on the right, but like slightly off. So we're going to do, we're going to put it as like a 40 pixels in between the farthest right corner, or the farthest right side. And let's just see what I've done. Oh, whoops. Let's make this relative. I forgot. On our parent, we want this to be a position relative now, so that we don't get it on our caution tape. There we go. So now it's a little bit, it's on the right side, not completely on the right edge. We've got, actually, this is finally like the mixed blend mode on there kind of makes it interesting now with that different color. So it's always just like, I don't know, it's just a game of kind of playing with stuff. So that's actually, it's probably still hard to see on the screen, on the stream, but it is kind of cool now. So anyway, let's try and make this position down just a little bit, almost like it's kind of like right now it's all too centered. So what I want to do is I want to just pull this down a little bit. We're going to do like, let's do like, we'll go from the bottom, because I do want it to be mostly on that bottom axis, and maybe we'll just lift it up from the bottom like 60 pixels or something, just to kind of anchor it a little bit more towards that corner. Okay, so now it's a little bit too lined up with the background text there. Do I want to, maybe I'll move this up. Yeah. Or actually, you know what, let's change this size really fast, because I wonder if that will be enough to kind of get this effect of like, it's almost like you're seeing echoes of it, is kind of what I was thinking. So maybe we'll change this to like an 8 rem or something like that. Let's see how that works. That's a little, I don't know. I think now it's kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting. They can't all be amazing. Okay, so anyway, designing on the fly is pretty tough. And this magenta is probably not the right color for this. I still think there's something about this that could be interesting. And maybe we just tighten up the line height on this, on the back version of this. So I just want it to be a little bit less than normal. So 1 is normal, so I think we can do like 0.7 and just tighten that up. Oh, that's a little bit too much. See how now it's like totally stacked on each other? So I'm going to just change that in the background here to like 0.86. I don't know. So I don't want it to be too close to 1. There we go. So that, yeah, it's just a little bit tighter. It's maybe a little bit, it's just kind of weird. Maybe we change the blur here. I'm going to change this to be a little bit more intense, so you can't quite read it as well. Let's do like 12. I don't know. Something like that. Okay, so now we're getting, I mean, it's still interesting. You know, I think I'm polishing this a little bit. But there's still kind of like that cool, like, I don't know, waveform almost now, where it could be sound waves in the background, it could be text, I don't know, it's kind of hard to read. obviously in the back here. So this one is definitely not my favorite, but I think this is unlocked for me. The ultimate goal of this was to figure out, can we do something that's not so stocky, like stock typography, or I keep saying that, stock photography for your blogs? You know, I design most of these, but it's just not, I don't know, it's just uninspiring to me. And so this, even though these are all kind of silly, I still think this shows me that I can design my templates to have some of that expression. And especially with that variable font, that's a game changer, actually. I'm really excited to see how we can push this to make this more expressive, fit more, totally different styles with all the same fonts. I just think there's so much potential here. And also kind of playing with this like drawing with text, I guess, is ultimately what I'm trying to do here. And so I think we're at a good start. So I'd like to continue to like explore this and push this, and we'll see what we come up with. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll just throw it out there one more time. I do have an email newsletter. It's called Cyborg. It's to help us upgrade our humanity and hopefully, not feel so dominated by the digital space. And I feel that as a developer. I feel like I'm drowning in things a lot of the time. So I love these chances to explore creativity, what makes people human, what is humanity, that kind of a thing. And I think that design does this for me, and that's kind of why I like these exercises. And I'll talk about that every once in a while on the newsletter, as well as how we deal with AI and creativity, and how do we keep moving forward. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this live stream. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you around on the next one. Take care.